I think information is more valuable than money. I know how it works, but why am I still not at the place I want to be? Why do I still make like 5K a month? And then I said to myself, okay, by the end of the year, I'm gonna make 30K a month in profit and have that as a hard goal. And then for 4 months straight, I started with building the identity. Okay, this is the person I want to be. This is the 30K a month version of myself. This is the way I carry myself, the thoughts I have, the behaviors I have, the habits, everything. And every day I reinforce that identity. So the concept of myself changed. But there is a trap in Bali. It's you get way too comfortable. And guys like you and some people we know, they really want to push forward. But a lot of people, digital nomads, are happy to make 10, 50K a month and then they just chill. I was very depressed with suicidal thoughts, and back home a lot of people were negative. And even like influencers or politicians, like they can be AI generated and you don't know what they're saying is true, if they're still alive or not. Like it seems very real, so it's also dangerous, but it's also very interesting. Like yesterday I was doing meetings and I was 12 and a half hours in Claude. I'm Thomas, I'm 22. I run a growth operations agency. And yeah, we're just scaling clients. If someone starts out and they have a skill, we help them monetize it. And if they're ready to scale further, like to 6 figures, then we build the infrastructure, get everything in place, build the backend, and then we guide them to 6 figures.
Nice. So you sort of start more on like the consultation side. Like if they just want to first start out, then you might consult them a bit more, and then when they start getting the first bit of revenue, then you might go for more of like a done for you building backend systems, sales teams, everything.
Yeah, like first, the very important is, as we see, someone needs to get proof of concept. So in the initial part, we don't really need to get too involved. People need to prove themselves. They need to show that they can generate content at least and build an audience of themselves. Like that's the part you don't know if it's gonna take a month, a few weeks with some guys, or a month, but that's the part that has a personal brand. And after that clicks, we can just help them go further.
Yeah, awesome. That's a pretty good overview of the business. I want to go a step back just to cover a little bit about you, how you got into growth operating agency, what you're doing now, because obviously a lot of operators come from different places, and then we can just cover that quickly, and then let's go deeper.
That's good. Yeah. I started 3.5 years ago with a marketing agency, like the SMA, Immigratie kind of style. Then I did that for almost a year, did local lead gen for clients in the Netherlands. I also started cold calling to like USA, but my English wasn't very good back then. Then I went into a mentorship with a software development agency, or my mentor was a software guy, but he was really good in marketing and sales, scaled a couple companies to millions. There I learned fundamental basics of software, marketing, raised a couple million funding for a startup, and then I went into the info coaching market.
That's interesting because it seems like you was in the more corporate side, and then you took a step, not a step back, but a step into a different realm of info coaching. It's interesting because I'm seeing right now a lot of operators doing the kind of opposite of going more into then maybe the startup world, a bit more like private equity, stuff like that. Like what made you want to go back into info coaching instead of sticking and scaling up?
Yeah, so it's very easy. Back with the marketing agency, it was mostly me and a contractor, so we didn't make that much money. Then I went into the agency, and it was really a learning season for me with the software guy. So really see the big world. I started driving supercars, started going places, and I was like, okay, it's good, but it's not the quick money or something. And I saw the info coaching, and I had the opportunity to work with another agency, and I stepped into that, just get to understand the market better.
And what is it, do you think, that drew you to info in the beginning?
It started out 3 years ago. Like with the marketing agency, of course you look, okay, business expansion, what's the direction to go in? Local lead generation, you're really bound to the radius of the local business. And I was okay, how do we grow? I was researching it with the agency I worked with. Like, okay, high ticket or agencies, like people willing to pay a larger ticket price. And that was really the first time that we went into the high ticket info coaching side. There we went into for only a few months, but the guy I worked with, he he had other priorities. Like he had a few big brands, and he just wanted to go all in on that.
Interesting. Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper down into exactly what you're doing, exactly the way that you're operating info businesses or operating ecom businesses as well.
Yes, it's actually very simple. When they start out, we're just consulting most of the time, like get the proof of concept with the business itself. If they're starting out, then just get them to make their first money, and if they're already making around the 30 to 50K, they're ready to actually scale further. And then the roadmap is quite simple, very hard to implement, but it's quite simple. Then you add setters, then you add a closer, depending on if the personal brand wants to continue, because the closing rate on personal brands is always higher.
Yeah.
And then you introduce paid marketing. First of all, you're going to boost organic content with paid marketing. If that's going well, you run different paid acquisition, so visual, webinar.
No, because most of our audience here watching are going to be more like operator side system thinkers. I want to focus because I'm really curious about how you originally scaled from the very start when you first got into info coaching, right? So just to explain how the infrastructure of a current business works. So you said you have a business partner. Do you want to just explain how that works right now? I'm just curious to learn about that for the audience as well, so they have context, and then we can go into how you first started scaling it and then to where we are now.
Yes, that's good. So I started working with the business partner. He has his own info coaching offer. So we started building that out first. And then we realized like the market is just not, it's very underutilized. So then I have a particular background in marketing and in systems, in data, and he's a very good sales guy, sales management experience. And then we thought, okay, this is a good hybrid. We can sell this. And first, in the initial period before I was leaving the other agency and we were starting our own, I was selling CRM systems and backend systems. And it's like decent, it's 15K, 20K system. It helps people, but it's like a thing that they need after they reach 50K maybe to actually scale further. You need it earlier, but that's like the real part. And then we're like, okay, why shouldn't we work together? I take most of the backend, he does the front end side, and it's working well.
So when did you said 2 years ago you started getting into info coaching?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, almost 2 years.
Okay, cool. And then how did you guys first scale up your first few clients? Because I know right now you personally don't necessarily have much of a personal brand. Like how did you get first few clients? How did that scaling process work? Because I know it's a grueling process of going up the ladder, but like, do you want to speak about that?
It's a very funny story of how we got it's of course we're very well networked in the Dutch market and also relatively well in the international market, and we have a relatively good like brand reputation, and he's a sales guy and he closed a couple guys, and these guys are now making millions with ecom. They want to start their own brand, start their own coaching, and he always kept in touch. So at one point he was checking in, how's it going, he's good, and then the reciprocated.
So those are people that he closed himself into ecom mentorships.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this would have been, so it would have taken them like a year, maybe 2 years to scale up, and now they're at the point where they want to do mentorship as well.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah. And the only thing we work with like very operationally heavy is people actually walking the talk. So people actually making millions with ecom.
Yeah.
It's for us very easy to have the proof.
Yeah.
And it's also just the authenticity, because we know a couple of Dutch guys that sell coaching for a couple of years and they don't run stars for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I don't have an issue with that, but I have an issue with the fact that they say they make money with the ecom instead of saying I make money with the coaching.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
Yeah, I know a few names come to mind immediately. But yeah, do you want to, I feel like it would be really interesting for the audience wise to learn like how you've seen the industry change over the past 2 years. I mean, I'm guessing even the last 2 months, you've seen a pretty big difference in the way that you potentially go about doing what you're doing with systems. Like how have you seen it evolve, the landscape of growth operating or just generally the info space since you got into it?
Yeah, so in general, the info coaching is already going for like a long time. And since the last years, like the way you see marketing, it's a way more, you need to be authentic as a personal brand, and you just need to be honest. I think that's like a big change that's happening. And also you need trust more than ever. So you need credibility, you need results. That's a big thing, and lately AI has been really going in, and I think a lot of business underutilizes in B2B, but also in info coaching, like how to structure their data in the backend, and how to use the AI on it to actually read the data and let your business run almost autopilot.
How are you seeing that? So I know the info industry is also using the very best, like funnels, A/B testing. They're using the full stack of everything they've got available. But you're saying now they're not utilizing AI as much. What kind of stuff are they not doing? What kind of stuff do you see them they should be able to do?
The process is mostly, or the data is scattered. So you have, and right now it's getting better a little bit, but on one hand you have the marketing data sheet, where of course sales come in and everything. Then you have an Airtable system, people using Slack. You have a sort of fulfillment software, or where they communicate where the community is. It's like all a little bit scattered. And right now we centralized everything so the data can actually read it. So from the first touch points, like what leads magnets did they request, what ads did they see, from the setting conversation, from the closing call, closing transcriptions, onboarding information, delivery calls, and also you have the entire data. So that's, if you structure that in the right way, what I think a lot of info coaching business and business in general are not doing. If you do it, you can let AI do the work.
So, and is that something that you're doing, aggregating all the data into one place?
Yeah.
And
What are you using mostly for that?
We're mostly using Supabase. We're bringing everything together there, and then we're using agents. And we started doing it recently. Like, first we started doing it manually, gathering the data, doing research on it, and right now we're building it out.
And what kind of agents are you using to manage the Supabase?
It's like Claude.
Mhm.
So Claude agent, and then we're building sales management data, operations agent for data restructuring. But we know there's some more agents that we used, and I think you can shine a good light on that.
Yeah, but I'd say you're already ahead of most people that we've spoken to operator-wise. What do you think?
Having an operator speak about Supabase is something which I haven't seen before, which is super
No.
interesting.
Yeah, because you see a combination in the industry, right, of operators. Some are more sales heavy related from their back end, from their experience doing that. Some come from the marketing agencies that are more on the marketing side, and some are just like really, really good, like technical people. Like, what have you seen? Have you seen like an actual correlation to how good an info business runs based upon the operator's like background? Because obviously they might lean on one side a bit more than the other. Like, what have you seen with that? Or you just sort of in your own world and not really caring about other people and just doing?
Of course, we research competitors,
Yeah.
but we're kind of in our own lanes. What you see, Mo, and that's why I think it's very good to work with someone that you're polar opposite. Like the sales guy, he knows the sales. He knows. Of course, I know human psychology, but he's like sales heavy, and I'm on the other side. Like I'm very broad on the other things, and I think normally you have one thing that's very good, like marketing heavy, but of course marketing is not going to drive all these sales, because if there's no closing or anything, of course you're going to make money, but not as much. So I think it's better to have like everything quite decent. If you're a consultant or an operator, and you have someone that strengthens your weaknesses, sort of, and there you need someone that's a very good marketer or something to get into place as well. If you really want to go from 500K to maybe 2 million, then you really need the marketing expertise. Before that, I think if you're very broad and you know how it works, everything, you can get to 500K quite easy.
Yeah, because that leans quite nicely. Because so what you're saying is if you're broader, more full stack, then you can get to 500K. But then what is the difference then between someone who stays at kind of 500K to the next stage? Is it hiring internal teams to fix your general kind of bottlenecks, or what you're not so good as an operator? Like, what do you see?
It's like from that point, it's getting more acquisition channels, scaling that, and for infrastructure is more if you're scaling, your delivery shouldn't break. Your finance flows need to be there. The data needs to be there on how to see how aggressively you can scale, and also in terms of setting and closing, how good is the team? And the main issue from scaling there is recruiting new people. That's an issue we're solving right now, as we were talking briefly about it. But I think mostly it's a capacity thing.
Yeah.
And how important do you think being full stack has helped you to get to where you are now?
Very good. Like it's helped me a lot.
And is it yourself managing the technical lead?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. And how have you learned all of the stuff around Supabase, Claude?
Just fucking around finding out.
Trial and error, yeah.
Yeah, it's like yesterday I was doing meetings and I was 12 and a half hours in Claude, just going through it. And I think that's you can always think about it and say to yourself, I'm not able to learn anything technical, or not able to learn sales or setting or marketing. But you're not going to learn if you don't spend time on it. And I think if you just start doing it, you know what questions to ask, you can learn pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Especially with AI. If you don't know what the question is, if you don't know how to do it, who's the best person to ask?
Yeah.
Claude or whoever their best
Yeah.
is at the time.
Yeah, because it leads really nicely then, that point, on going back down to like what's the most important. So what I discovered with Alex recently is that obviously, I mean, the Claude recently had that update that you mentioned last time that I downloaded, where it can basically control everything on my screen instead of just the Chrome
Like
browser.
co-working
Yeah.
thing.
So you mentioned earlier about AI. So what? Can we go a bit deeper into your point? Because I think I might have misunderstood. Alex might have misunderstood what you meant when you said about AI in info coaching. Whether you're saying that not enough people are adopting it. Is that what you're saying? Operators wise, or
Yeah, people are using it for scripting, like very generic
basic
scripts.
things. Yeah.
And that way AI is it's never gonna work. How I see in the initial stage it's like AI, but I saw it like augmented intelligence. So it's gonna be built on top of you to build capacity, and then it's gonna be artificial. So first you're gonna expand it to increase your output as an operator, like if you're working and you're utilizing AI, and then you're gonna let AI run on itself later.
Yeah. Do you think it magnifies the things then which you can't necessarily do from behind a screen, like team culture around setters, closers? Like, do you think it will just magnify the importance of the other things which necessarily can't be done by AI right now? And do you think that will then make and really show the weak spots necessarily in other businesses? It doesn't have to be info specific or any company around like what you can't do behind a screen. Like, what do you think it makes most important things which are going to be like the most relevant to scaling?
So AI is going to be able to replace like a lot of the operating things, like executing things. That's going to be replacing it. But the team culture, having a team together, that's going to be more important than ever. I think AI can assist in that. You should see from certain calls, like if someone is very negative before, like the vibration is very low before entering a sales call or something, then you can place like a marker. Okay, this guy's negative, sort of, and then you can increase in the or mention it in one-on-ones or in the team meetings. But the personal touch is going to be very important.
Yeah. So for example, personal touch, like I'm not sure if you would have 100% seen, like, for example, something like Mochi, like the way that you can use 11 Labs to send a voice note instead of just texting. Like you see with info, like a massive wave. As soon as something new comes up, everyone gets on top of it. Like, what do you think of tools like that? Are you guys using, for example, like Mochi for
we were
notes and stuff
one
like
of
that,
the earliest adapters of Mochi.
Yeah.
For a couple brands. I think it's a good way. Of course, 11 Labs is not always there. Sometimes you get a response and you're like, no. But that is a good personal touch. Like being able to say someone's first name and having that feeling. Because that's the thing with what we mentioned in the beginning. It's like you need to be authentic and it needs to be real. And of course, it's AI, but it's more like it feels real.
Yeah.
So it seems real.
And it amplifies, right?
I think it'll allow you to do more executional tasks, like the stuff that it can't. Like it'll take away all the operational stuff behind the scenes, like writing the scripts, executing, doing email campaigns, or whatever you can do digitally on a screen. But then whatever, like the filming, for example, you can't get someone to film right now. Anyways.
But it can make sure the infrastructure is there, so it can schedule the studio, can schedule everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the.
So what is the use case you're using the most with AI, and what's also the most impressive thing you've seen so far?
I think for us is data interpretation and data, I say aggregating data, or that's all complete, so there's no leaks. That's like very useful. Also identifying things we can improve on, also things wrong with the business. That's what we use it for, like having notifications. Also with, we're now building it out. It's like it also the on Discord channels, for example, like the operating system can send personalized messages in the Discord if someone hasn't booked in a call yet in 2 weeks, if someone hasn't filled in their, how you say it?
End of day reports, EOD.
EOD we already have, but also like the net promoter score, like customer surveys. If they haven't had their payments, like everything, we automated it so it can go to Discord.
And how is that automated? Through Claude, N8N, something else?
And it's through Supabase, Claude and N8N, but like a very simple workflow.
Okay.
It's not very complex. If you just set the triggers right, then it's and the structure is there. Like payment links need to be there.
Yeah.
Then it's quite easy.
But you don't nowadays. You don't even need complex workflows. It's just
No.
whatever's most efficient, whatever will get you there. So as opposed to that, then what's the most impressive thing you've seen it doing, or is there anything like that's just giving you that mind blown moment?
I think especially for the e-com brands, once they start doing AI UGC, I think that's something that's really sparked. Okay, this is actually very, very big. Like you can't, and that's even, I don't want to go in that way right now, but even like influencers or politicians, like they can be AI generated and you don't know what they're saying is true, if they're still alive or not. Like it seems very real. So it's also dangerous, but it's also very interesting.
I think a very interesting space to watch. Maybe, I remember Gary Vee saying this, everyone or every influencer will have their AI twin. And their AI twin is the one promoting their brand message so that they don't have to film every day. And for example, this is what we were doing with our last startup, where it clones your face, clones your knowledge, clones everything about you. So you can speak to the AI version on a call, for example. Like this space is super interesting, especially around content about media. So for example, how would you leverage that for what you're doing at the moment? And when do you see that really playing in?
I think for if you're a growth operation agency or you're in info coaching, like there are a few things you need to have skill. At a certain point, the audience you can attract as a white male or a white English male is certain, and then you need different demographics inside your audience or inside your brand to actually promote your brand and reach new people. And I think AI can do that. Like it can create women, other races, ethnicities, like everything. And then you reach a larger audience, and I think that's.
Then you can split test what works.
Then you can split test what works. You reach like almost every demographic. It's.
You heard about Andrew Karpathy's auto research thing that came out a few weeks ago?
No.
I think that would be super interesting actually, because it allows you to, if you have a large data sample, if you have a large amount of data, like for example Facebook ads, if you're posting UGC and getting tons and tons of feedback every day, you can then run algorithms to see exactly what's working, perform tests, exactly how LLMs train. So they do something, if it works, they get positive. If it's negative, they have to redo it again. But now you can do that within your business and within like testing UGC ads, within testing Facebook ads. And it does all of that, and then it iterates by itself. It keeps optimizing by itself, and you can dedicate GPU power to it. So then it just keeps going on that exponential up. Like how you train an LLM, you train the UGC or you train your Facebook ad or whatever, and then there's really no excuse for not having the best optimal funnel or the best script or the best ad or whatever.
I was going to dive into this in the next days actually. So this is good, but we like the backend structure is there. So we want to utilize it more for improving the front end content you push out. So
is this an extension of what we were talking about before with like creating like your own little box or world of different people within your ICP? And then that's what we're talking about?
Sort of, yeah. That's another extension of it.
Okay, do you want to go into that then? Do you want to explain how that could work?
For example, you can simulate environments. For example, what we've got probably the most 100 influential people that would be applicable to us. So Alex Hormozy, Sam Ovens, Jeremy Haynes, even Naval Ravikant, Elon, all of them. Now we've scraped everything about every single one of them, then broken it down into a framework, and then we give it an idea. So this is the direction we want to pivot the business into. This is the direction we want to go. And then it creates up a sandbox environment of Alex Hormozy answering that question based on his knowledge. Then Jeremy Haynes coming back and saying, no, I think you should do it this way. Elon saying, think of it from a bigger perspective. And it keeps going back and forth. And then it keeps running tests and evaluates at the very end what would be the very best for our situation right now. And it's very similar to what we were talking about before. Before was more so data. This is more so how would great minds think about a certain problem.
Yeah.
And then you can go into the data testing.
And then, exactly, that's probably like the ideation stage. Then the data testing
I think
stage.
the ideation was always the biggest issue for like the creativity for ideation. But I think there's going to be...
Because now all you need to provide is the macro, so like the longer term vision, and then like it can help iron that out, AI, Claude code, based upon like if you have like an environment of mentals and everything that you've transcribed, and then it can actually formulate the step-by-step micro tasks that need to be done in order to get to that outcome. Because then it's just execution.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we're here right now, and the reason why tomorrow we're doing the mastermind is because last week we reverse engineered exactly what we needed to do to quickly form a brand and build authority in the space, in order to then justify the fact that we know what we're talking about and can scale up more value-based content, you know? So, and then it comes down to just execution, you know, because this studio was booked and now we're here.
And how did you book the studio? By getting your AI to speak to another AI?
Exactly.
To book the studio. Like, for example, our video editors, we needed some editors. And I messaged Claude Code in the morning. I said, we need some editors. How quick can you get it? And then this was 9 a.m. in the morning. It went out, applied to onlinejobs.ph, created an account, put a listing out, scraped all the video editors and all the other video editors that funneled into my email. Then it emailed, followed up with them, got their portfolio, got their WhatsApp number, everything else, put that into a big spreadsheet, and then it funneled everyone into a call at 5 p.m. that same day.
That's good.
In the meantime, that was one prompt. I went to Omni, and then I came back, and we had about 25 meetings, 25 people booked on a call for 5 p.m. and around 300 applicants in the spreadsheet. Then we did that call, we gave them the brief, they edited some stuff over the next day, and then we've got 2 full-time editors by the end of the next day. So this stuff it actually does physical tasks for you. It does.
There's the next step that you keep skipping every time we speak about it. The Excel, that's one of the most insane things. The spreadsheet aggregated, do you want to explain that? And like the way it A/B tested and reviewed their content?
Yeah, so it created that spreadsheet. It got their portfolio URL links to the drive that they submitted. And then it looked exactly into the drive, what kind of editing style matches what we want, and then filtered them out, and then evaluated them against the call we had later that day.
Is it the concept you already had? It's for screening for recruitment agencies. Did you get it from there, or did you build this?
I just asked Claude, how do we do this?
This is the outcome we want. What is the micro and how to get that? It's like, okay.
Exactly. So this stuff that blew me away. I've been in AI for the last, 5 years. And this stuff has just catapulted me into a complete different dimension.
It's going to be, if this enters the B2B market in cooperating ways.
But that's the interesting thing though. Do you really think there'll be different startups for this? Or do you think it'll just be one thing all done by Claude? Or whatever the most powerful model will be?
I think there's going to be startups trying it first. And at the end, it's going to be one bigger one maybe.
Yeah, I think it has to be one though, right? Because the startups would just be some kind of wrapper of what's already capable in Claude. But the issue with that is if it's the startups doing it, is they're just relying on the ignorance of someone that they can't just do it themselves, you know?
But then what were we saying the other day? And that actually links back to what you were saying about data. The most important thing now is not going to be the software or anything. It's going to be what's behind the software or the data. And that's why if you link it to your company data, then it'll be specific for your company. It'll know how best to help you. You can't just say, give it no data and then say, help, how do I grow my company? Because it doesn't know anything about your company. But like, for example, if you aggregate the data in the beginning, like, for example, there'll be data sources, like for example, Apollo. It's got a large data source. That would be then linked through MCP or API to Claude, and then Claude would be able to scrape that data list. And then software companies will just be like API connectors, and everything will just connect into one grand software. So
in that way. You guys also used Apollo, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years ago for the software also.
Mm-hmm.
I think if then it's also one like big platform that aggregates all the data and has it all in place, and then you plug in the API, you say.
Mm-hmm.
In that way, yeah, I see that.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then now, what do you see being the thing entrepreneurs really do? What do you think the main things we can work on over the next 2 years, 5 years, which will not be obliterated by Claude or Claude Code?
There are a couple of things. I think also what will set entrepreneurs apart. Like for me, it was a thing. Okay, I want to work hard, and then also I want to work smarter. And now I'm combining working smarter with working harder, and I think that's the execution part. Like AI says, it's gonna take 2 weeks. If you're just gonna log in, you get it done within 12 hours or something. So I think the skill of just also executing and being there is also, of course, AI will create leverage and freedom, but I think it will slow people down that they think they can chill. But I think if you can also like execute, it's gonna be a thing. But I think also the thing that's will set entrepreneurs apart is fundamentally building a business that can run on itself. And in order to do that, you need to have everything in place and structured right, like the data, the systems, the workflows. And then you have a business that can scale.
And what would you say is the groundwork would you recommend to anyone listening to get your business in the right place for that?
If someone's already making money, and then if they don't want to learn it, I would suggest going to guys like us. Like, it is still a big learning curve, and I don't think they will spend 12 hours a day for a couple of weeks straight, or for years in AI, for example. If you don't want to learn it yourself, or think you're a little bit behind, you should just outsource it with another guy. Get him in-house so he truly understands the business. Build it out. Also leverage other one's information.
Yeah, there's a Hormozy model. Get someone that's an agency which is doing it really well.
Yeah.
Learn from them, then incorporate them, and then do it in-house, and then learn from a premium agency, and then bring it in.
It just speeds up the learning process and also just the potential of your business and yourself.
Yeah.
Like you can wait, you can sort of figure it out for 3 years, or you can just learn it in a week.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with also making decisions. Like you can make a decision this hour, or you can delay it next week, and then the next decision come, and then it's in 2 hours 2 decisions, or in 2 weeks 2 decisions. And like the speed at which you can make decision making work, it's faster, and that's also utilizing the information of other people.
Yeah, and then leading on to that, what do you really see the future of work being? Do you think it'll be like a working class that has universal basic income, universal high income, and then there'll be the entrepreneurs pushing it forward? Or have you ever thought that far into the future?
Of course, you're thinking about it, but I haven't really. Of course, I've gone over it, but I think entrepreneurs will always be there and always leading it. And there's always, it comes down to how much value do you provide to the overall system. And if you create the infrastructure as an entrepreneur utilizing AI, then you create more value, so you get more money. And the people that are just generating normal income, they will also always generate it, because they will not do the work, the internal work, external work, so they will always make minimum wage.
Yeah. Do you think, so what do you think are going to be the things that are going to pull the lever the most then for like CEOs, entrepreneurs, like operating, like, kind of thinking people? Like what's going to move the lever the most? Because really, if you think about it, it gives us more time, because the micro can be done pretty easily and it just comes to execution. There's only so much necessarily like execution you can do, or that you necessarily need to do. Do you think it gives us a lot more time then to think more about what that macro is, to learn more about things like energy, how the world works, and then those really bigger things to then come back down to the business? Like, what do you think is gonna move the lever the most then?
Yeah, I think also like the bigger picture, the energy work, etc. And I think it frees up. Like you have a certain amount of things you know. Of course, new ideas come from or interacting with other people, or it comes from the universe. But it's with, you need to gather data, and that's like talking to you. You can network very well, and you can learn a lot. Like for example, if you don't move to a place like Bali, Dubai, Marbella, Hong Kong, you'll never get the information about AI, about trends and anything. I think that's very important. Networking, getting more information, getting new ideas, traveling the world. I think that it allows you to do more of that, and that's going to be the thing that gives you new insights and create business ideas that will actually improve the world.
Getting real world feedback,
Yeah.
speaking to people, but also feeling the energy, feeling the
Mhm.
you're giving me energy, you're giving me ideas, and then also I'm reciprocating it back,
Mhm.
and then that's what causes innovation. That's what causes entrepreneurship. Really.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
how important would you say has been moving to Bali? What's really you've been here for around 6.5 months, right?
I've been here this year for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think moving outside your home environment is like a very big thing. For me, it was first I started working with a mentor, and I was quite a lot on the road, so I was already moving out. We were going to different places, sleeping at hotels, going to different villas. And I think that was already a big step. But the move to Bali Bali does something with you. You feel the freedom, the people here, and everyone's here is high energy. But there is a trap in Bali. You get way too comfortable. Guys like you and some people we know, you really want to push forward. But a lot of people, digital nomads, are happy to make 10, 15K a month, and then they just chill. And I think that's you need to be aware. Bali is great. It will enable you to get to know yourself better, your desires, and what you think you can bring to the world. But you also need to understand, okay, when's the time for me to move and leave behind what seems like good for people that are working 9 to 5, and need to leave it behind and grow even further because you have great potential.
yeah. And do you feel like there's seasons in life where you have the season of Bali, you push past it, and then if you don't move on to the next bigger thing, it's sort of like you're just in that same cycle.
Yeah, you need different parts. It's I think also the book King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. You know, like a book, it also you have different archetypes you need to embody, and I think different places have different archetypes. Like Bali is very free, for some people it's relaxing, but it's like really reflective energy, sort of. I think creative, reflective, and then Dubai is more executing. Like a city life, that's just execution, being surrounded with the money. It's changing your environment, definitely changes your thought patterns and the thing you need.
Interesting. And then how have you seen that yourself? Changing your environment, your thought patterns. What success has that led from you, if any?
If any.
Well, I mean,
I have no success.
I mean through everything you've learned, like the mindset, the energy, everything we've just been speaking about. Like, what effects has that had in your life?
I think it's what my mentor said. We were working with we were raising money also from Hong Kong for Netherlands renewable energy, and she was relatively wealthy, and she traveled a lot. And what she said is, whenever you get off the plane or enter the plane, it feels like you enter a new dimension. So the moment you step in, enter a different world, you're a new version of yourself. No one really knows you, and the identity that you want to carry, you act as that, and people think it's you. So I think changing the environments, you'll be able to walk in new, start sort of with a new identity, and I think that enables you to really grow faster, because people see you as the way you are at that moment.
Yeah, that's so interesting. We've seen that on the micro scale from just moving villas regularly. Like we'll do like 2-week stints at Airbnbs and just move every 2 weeks. Like for example, we had a period where we were in a bunker, basically like a stone bunker for like 2 months actually, and we changed environments, and then it led to a different layer of growth because we were in like a different stage, of thinking and execution, which was really, really interesting. Huh?
Isn't that true? We actually, the day we switched villa is the day we switched operating model.
Yeah.
So every single time, like we just moved in another one yesterday, and like, there was a lot more focus, a lot more. energy on
It's
certain
interesting.
thing.
On like a micro scale, how that changes, just like generally, like which desk you work on, you know, like that's the
Well,
desk you eat on
yeah.
versus this is the desk you work on.
That's the thing. If you work on one desk, then you have dinner somewhere else,
Yeah.
then a meeting maybe a standing desk. I think we all do it. We can work 12, 16. Yesterday was long, but like we can work like 16 hours, 18 hours at our desks. It's okay. But also, if we need more creativity or something, you need to move a little bit. So I'm big advocate for deep work, then going out for gym or going out for dinner, and then get back home. If you need to get work done, of course you can just stay at home. But I think the moment of break or switching context also allows your brain to kind of relax in that moment, sort of.
Yeah. Has your day to day sort of changed in the last month or so? Because I know Alex and I's has changed in the sense of how we're feeding ourselves with more and more education. Like we don't watch YouTube videos on micro value things like how to improve your Facebook pixel or stuff like that anymore because everything's just scraped and added to, for example, a context layer and A/B tested against like the overall outcome we want to get. Like, have you had changes of that? Do you still, for example, watch like value-based YouTube videos, or you focus more on like macro things, like maybe content from, for example, Naval Ravikant? I watch a lot personally on like 5 levers of scale, for example. Have you seen a big change in what you're doing today? Value, education.
I think more high level in general, but for now it's period I'm just executing. I know what it gets done, and then every day you reflect, okay, what went well, what could I improve? Then also on a weekly basis and also on a monthly basis, and I just, okay, what's the information I really need, and then I'm just gonna research that. Like, for example, if you don't know what you don't know, but for like big decisions you can also ask, and then you search for videos. That's true. But there's also a certain point about getting information, getting what, yeah, and then you also need to just execute, get it done. You can also drain yourself in this strategy, that strategy.
And now you don't need to think about strategy though, really, in the sense of like it can be laid out for you if you want.
You can.
So it's just just execution. But the people, who do you think is gonna be like the most forward motion? Is the people that are just doing the most execution? It's like an object motion stays in motion. Like, do you think?
Yeah, and you also need to. That's the danger with AI. It's 98% of the time is right, sort of. But you need to have like for the software development, we were talking about it. It's like you need to understand a little bit of the code and understand how it's building the thing out to still see if it has the context and still see if it's building what you want. And if you don't know or don't observe it, then it can go like a very different way.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we were speaking about earlier about being full stack.
Yeah.
Like you can say, okay, outsource my sales team to someone who I've never, who's sold, who's a really good salesperson, and I've never sold myself. How can you outsource it to someone else when you don't even know what they need to do? Same with software. Like if you have no idea about, just say, oh, build me this software. It's probably not going to be the best software if you were to architect it and understand the logic patterns and all of that kind of stuff.
I think this also ties back very well in to understand something for like 80% is AI, is the appointment setting and sales. It only takes a couple of days. Really, to understand the fundamental parts, even when you utilize AI for research, etc., you understand how it works, then you apply it, and then you, okay, this is sort of how it works, you get a feeling, and then you have a reference point. You can like analyze other people and say, okay, I don't think you should do this. I think this might be better. And then the rest of the 20% is going to take years almost to like perfect the craft. But I think if you get an 80% right, you understand how it works, and then you can like structure everything in the right moment. You know who to hire, you know what to build.
Yeah, you need to know those core principles underlying everything. And like for example, you've had this before where you're on a team where the person just hired, and didn't know anyone, didn't know what to do regarding sales, regarding marketing, just hired random people, and at the end, he didn't know what he was managing, he didn't know what he was, and everything.
Yeah,
crumbled
it
down.
becomes like a complete liability not being full stack. But then again, like if you have the mindset going into it, like okay, I'm gonna hire this guy,
And I'm gonna learn
and then
from
I'm gonna learn from him.
Mhm.
Then it's a different story than just being like, okay, let me just rely on this guy, because then it becomes a massive liability in your business.
Yeah, so hiring because you don't want to do something.
Yeah.
It's just fix it, and
But
then
there is a difference between like not wanting to do something and knowing about it versus like not wanting to do something and not knowing anything about it.
Mhm.
I think, because then you know how to manage that person. You know the KPIs and the good things to look for. What would you say your experience would be? Because I know, for example, like you've hired other people to sort of like just stick other roles, which you could probably do yourself if you wanted to. But
yeah, it's like clear expectations, like onboard them, show them everything about how it works, and then just have clear expectations, have KPIs they can perform on, and just track that. Do one-on-one calls. I'm a big advocate for improving like the internal work, like creating A players. You can hire A players, but also there are B players that have A player inside of them, but they just need the soft skills of how to operate. And I think I like that to do that. Like a lot of people, they hire someone, they say, oh, they're shit, but actually you've never told them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, whatever it is, and then you just have to blame yourself, like not the individual.
100% agree. It's same with AI. Say, oh,
Just fix
fix it, yeah. Or write me the copy for my website. Like, you haven't told it what your website is. You don't know anything. Like,
Zero
it's going to be a
context.
terrible output because you haven't
Mhm.
given it a good input. And that's where it comes with the knowledge that you have will allow you to give it a good input. Like for example, if I just told it, fix my software. Like, okay, go out, fix it. It won't know what to fix. It won't know what to test. It won't know anything to do.
Mhm.
Maybe it's becoming a bit more intelligent now, but you still have to say guide it in this direction, tell it what to do here, dedicate this amount of resources.
It's how good your prompt is. Yeah.
It's exactly it. And maybe like you prompt an AI to do something, but also you prompt other people to do other stuff. And
Yeah.
if you give it a terrible prompt,
Yeah.
they're not
They're
going to be
give
able.
you a terrible outcome.
Mhm.
Like you hire a closer, just say close these deals. You don't give them any.
You don't give them
SOPs
feedback
or-
mechanisms. You don't
Yeah.
give them anything.
So,
That's true.
I guess everything from AI now, or everything from human or from actual business is now relating. It's like a transferable skill from AI to business. If you can instruct a team well, you can instruct a bunch of AI agents well.
Mhm.
For example, we built this orchestration layer for marketing where we created a product manager, and there was a copywriter, social media marketer, LinkedIn post creator, YouTube, whatever. And I asked it, the product manager, a task, and then you could see it delegating the task between the different sub-agents, saying, okay, you need to write the copy here, then you need to research and write the copy and then evaluate it and then test it against all the other LinkedIn scripts, for example. And this kind of workflow works far, far better than just say, write me a killer LinkedIn post.
But there's also the thing, like the project manager is like the broad guy, and then you have experts,
Exactly.
and then that's
So eventually, if we can orchestrate AI to be like how we would have the hierarchy of a company, because of course there's a reason there's a hierarchy in a company, because it's worked for hundreds of years, and it's sort of like an evolution, tried and tested way, which just stands the test of time, which gets better and better. And of course, there could be things to improve. That's the whole thing. Elon says always question everything. But if it's working in the real world and in business and in a successful business, then if you just apply that same logic to an AI flow, like for example the stuff you're building out now, to have a company run by itself without you, then that could be super valuable. Like just if it's working, like for example, then automate it with AI, and you'll get tons of the output with barely any input.
Yeah, I think what's very important with this is having a clear understanding of what you want to outsource. Like, what's the end goal of the thing, the intention.
Yeah.
That's good.
Interesting.
Filtering that into, then I want to. So we've sort of gone what you're doing now, and then the day to day of everything right now. So obviously a lot has changed. You've experienced as well. A lot has changed in the last sort of 2 months, ever since like Claude Bot 2 months ago, then Claude Code. Now most people are just Claude Code environments. How do you see things in? Yeah, let's do info product industry changing then in the next 6 months, if so much has changed in the last 2 months. Like, what do you think are the next sort of things which, I mean, not necessarily just AI, but like, what do you think is going to be the things which are going to pull the lever the most in these companies and produce the most value and outcome?
The way we see it is you have two sides. You have the personal brand, and you have the AI engine on the back end.
Mhm.
And basically, for a personal brand to really convert and be effective, the personal brand needs to understand himself and also needs to understand their market and who they're like targeting, like the messaging, everything. And most of the time, it's a you need to like the time period before you have like really good content. It's just testing different concepts, different ideas. And I think the AI will assist in that. It will fasten the learning cycle for how you can find something that converts in your audience, like which formats to use, angles to use, etc. So then the personal brand can focus on really delivering value to their audience, like getting very authentic, and then the AI just takes off the data, interpretation, everything, and just feeds it back.
Mhm.
I think that's going to be, the personal brand's going to be even more personal. It's going to be even better to understand the customer journey, their wants, their needs, their pains. And then I think everyone's going to be understood better. I think that's a big thing.
So do you think there'll be more personal brands than ever before? Because of the ideation phase will be easier. It all comes down to execution.
Of course, it's going to be more personal brands.
Mm.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Like people started also waking up. People started to realize, okay, small percentage, but they realize, okay, I have something to share with the world. Let me just start creating. And if you can then have software that really assists you in that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is that something you want to go down into, creating your own personal brand?
Yeah.
And what's the direction? What's the stuff you want to share with the world? Is it business knowledge? Is it personal help philosophies that's helped you throughout life?
It's a combination of both. I think the way you operate a business also largely depends on how you operate yourself.
Mhm.
And the view we have, and like we're talking about a lot about energies, the high level guys also in understanding the fundamental parts of the universe. I think I want to share that with the world as well. Like the younger version of myself, what did he need to hear to actually empower him and to speed up the learning process to actually create his dream reality? I think I want to go into that, like the power of the mind, universal principles, energy, and on the other side is the business aspect and how it ties together.
Mhm.
Mm.
And regarding the first aspect, universal principles, energy, all of that, what have you found that's helped you?
Spirituality is, quite simply said, you truly understand yourself, like who you are at your core, you can say soul level, but really understands who you are. I think that's good because it sheds all your desires that are not yours. So maybe you don't really want supercars, maybe you don't really want Rolex or something, APs. It like sheds all those things, so you know what gives you energy, and that alone gives you more energy to be able to produce and create. And I think it also the ability to create the universe that I want. I think that's you can just create your own reality. Like being here with you guys, it's just created.
Yeah, and I think now more than ever before. I'm not sure because it's obviously, like I personally as well, I'm kind of new to like, this scale. But what's interesting is I see almost a lot more people speaking about energy more recently, in the sense of like, they have their systems dialed. They know exactly what they need to do, the inputs needed to get the outcome they want, and more than ever before, the direction is super clear more than ever before. But like for entrepreneurs, operators, everyone else, and it gives them more time to then focus on the next things, which is like the internal and the fundamental. You seen the same thing, like the same kind of shift?
Yeah, but I question: is it? Are we in a bubble? So are we attracting other people in this?
That's
Mm.
that's what I was about
Yeah.
to say with Archie, because maybe you feel that, and I completely agree with you. But do you think that's just because you've now reached a point where you've got systems dialed in, where everything's super clear what you need to do, and also for the last few days or for the last few weeks, you've been diving a lot deeper into energy, spiritual stuff.
Mm.
Do you think you're realizing that in other people just because you're realizing it more in yourself? Like for example, when you see you think of a red car,
Yeah.
you see all the red cars popping by.
Yeah.
Is that?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So then how do we awaken that to everyone else?
I had this very like this. I was thinking about it back home. Everyone's very negative always, and right here, almost no one's negative. So you experience reality here in sort of. It's all tinted a little bit rose,
Yeah.
Mm.
but you don't know, and that's why I want to create like different content for people, but I don't really know people that are like depressed or anything right now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy since I was very depressed with suicidal thoughts, and back home a lot of people were negative,
Yeah.
and right now I don't experience. So for me, my reality it doesn't exist.
Mhm.
But if I move back home, of course,
Yeah.
it will come back.
Do you feel like that would change the kind of content you'd want to post? Would it make you want to post less of like more of the spiritual stuff, or more because you'd help more people back at home, for example?
I think it will help more. I was talking to like my spiritual or one spiritual coach, who did a few energetic works also,
Mhm.
And it was, of course, you have the light. Like if you elevate yourself, you become the light, and you can shine your light on other people. But here, everyone here is sort of enlightening themselves, like they're realizing their potential, and everyone is shining here. But in the light, you don't really need that much light. But in the darkness, like in your place back home, you need light.
Mhm.
And then you will be the light bringer, okay, not Lucifer, but the light bringer
Yeah.
back home. And then it's the importance that you can keep your own energy, your own light, and share that to the other people.
Mhm. And then it requires more energy to keep your light on
Yeah.
when you're just surrounded by things which are taking your light out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're exactly as you said, and then you're in a positive environment, it makes your light even brighter.
Yeah.
So it's not detracting; it's actually adding to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, have you felt that once you come to Bali? Just get more energy, power.
Bro, it sped up everything. Like the internal issues you have and everything, it speeds it up like super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it goes back to what we were speaking about a lot of the sales guys who are doing the best are the ones that realize that internally is the only thing that matters in sales.
Mhm.
Like if you're internally sound and in a good position, then you can bring that energy to other people. And the
Mhm.
higher energy you are before a sales call, the higher close rate, for example.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with business because you said, like, do you want to cover what you're speaking about when you are at like 5K a month and you're like, okay, I'm gonna hit 30, and
Yeah.
then how you did that? Do you want to cover that?
Yeah, that's good. So I got the power of the mind and creating your reality. It's like a thing you dive in, like spirituality, and some people you just stay there for way too long. Like you know how it works, but you never really apply. And that happened to me. Like I understood how it works, reading Reality Transurfing, Cabellion, also Tooth to the Priestess, like all those books. You know how it works, but you never really apply. And then I started applying it. Like okay, I said to myself, I know how it works, but why am I still not at the place I want to be? Why do I still make like 5K a month? And why don't I like the life I live? And then I said to myself, I know I'm competent. I know if I say I'm going to do something, I will get there. And then it just was the risk. I said, okay. Or it happened, I was speaking to another guy, also relatively high level operator. And he said, okay, where do you want to be in 2 years? And I said, okay, I want to do this, I want to make this amount of money, travel the world, do X, Y, Z. And then I was thinking that night, why 2 years? Why not like 3 or 4 months? And then I said to myself, okay, by the end of the year, I'm going to make 30K a month in profit and have that as a hard goal. And then for 4 months straight, I started with building the identity. Okay, this is the person I want to be. This is the 30K a month version of myself. This is the way I carry myself, the thoughts I have, the behaviors I have, like the habits, everything. And every day I reinforced that identity. So the concept of myself changed. And like every day I went there, and by the end of the year, even a couple weeks before, I achieved it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, this is not magic. I know how it works, and now I can apply this to everything for myself, and I also can teach other people how to do it.
Yeah, and that's where it leads on to the personal brand.
Yeah.
I know you're going to start building that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is there like an actual business goal with that, or is it just on impact and like philanthropy?
It's impact and philanthropy. It's, of course, you're gonna do like business growth. Of course, you're gonna acquire partnerships. You're gonna people that want to work with you. But for me, that's not like 5K a month, 10K a month in Bali is enough. Like for me, but I have big goals also with the business. Like the vision we have is big, but I just want to do it, inspire other people, and just I have the feeling I have something to share with the world, and other people can benefit. And it's just a waste to not share it. And I think I was speaking to another guy yesterday. It's like if you read the Bible, there's a story of Joseph and in Egypt, with the grains, the silos. There's 7 years of storage, and or 7 years of like harvesting, and 7 years of scarcity. And in the 7 years, we are generating wealth, we are acquiring a lot of information, everything, but to keep it for ourselves, like very egoistic. So in the story is after the 7 years, you need to be able to share it. And I think in the periods that we harvest, we can also share it with the world. We can also share it with the friends we have, with individuals we meet, even donating money to other people, helping your parents. Just help the people around you because you already have enough. You want to make more, but
Give more energy.
you give more
Give more
energy,
and you'll have
reciprocity,
more, yeah.
everything. It's like it's not consciously okay. When I give, I'll get back. It works that way, but it's not like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just I have enough. I'm good. I want other people to experience the same thing. And for me, I like to do it with money, but even more than money, with giving people the ability to actually generate money in their life themselves. I think information is more valuable than money.
100%. I actually saw Tony Robbins. He was giving a speech the other day, and he said the people he knows that give around 10 to 20% of their wealth away every year seem to make 70% more wealth in return. And it's a consistent fact between all of them. You're giving away 20% of your wealth, and then you're making 70% more. It's not because they're trying to make 70% more. They're just providing or giving away, giving. And then as we were speaking about earlier, like the laws of the universe is like every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So you give out, if I'm giving you good energy, you're going to give me good energy back. Or if not, I'm going to be feeling good energy from other places. So it's like always that yin and yang. And then what you were saying about sales, you've got high energy for a call, you give good energy out, and then they receive it, and then they give good energy back, and then getting them in the mindset for whatever will help them the most. So it's so funny how everything relates back. Like even the books, like all the reality transurfing, but relates to Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then it relates to the Bible and
like Bhagavad Gita, Quran. It's all the parts.
Exactly.
I was going. It's fun. In the journey, I was like also going into different religions. Also went to like the mosque and went into Islam, and I had a background in all the other philosophies and all the other things. So I was there. It was a Quran study, and they were there. They were trying to interpret like the meaning of thing. It was 150 people, and it was about a thing about like that you're this. When you die in the Islam, this thing will stay alive. Like that will live forever. It will go through the fire. And I interpret it as like this is where your God consciousness lives, like the third eye. And I was like, okay. So, and it is because they say when you pray, you put your head on the floor, etc. And then I was sparring with him, like, okay, isn't maybe this, because in other philosophies it's like this. The eye is everything, and the eye is the light of the world. And then we were thinking about it. It's like very interesting perspectives because no one there or understands or thinks about it that way. And like having different perspective, you can just shine new light on it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, and then it's funny, they all mention, or they all sort of point to the same thing. Like in the Hinduism or spirituality, there's a chakra center here, or like all different places. And then that's related to in like even ancient art forms where they would draw. Like how does someone in Asia have a third eye here, and then someone all the way in, I don't know, the middle of Americas or something, the ancient Native Americans, they have the same thing there. How is that? Is it a coincidence, or is it they're all alluding to the same?
It's universal consciousness, man. I think that, and then you can go into like the Anunnaki part and stuff. I don't think this is the place, maybe, but like the Book of Enoch, Fallen Angels. There got to be parts of it that are true and like a controlling mechanism. But I think overall the consciousness and the way like the universe learns itself through dividing its source. Like you learn and experience things, you too, and we feed it back to the source. And I think that's very interesting about I said it sort of is like quantum computing. Like you have the one thing and it goes all directions at the same time. It's also with experiencing reality. Like you have the source, and to experience everything, it like quantifies itself. It goes into depth to better understand itself.
And it's like it can't be 1 or 0. It's somewhere in the middle. It's somewhere like, for example, if you see the experiment of like one particle rotating one way,
Mhm.
and there's one millions of light years
Yeah,
away,
and then
it switches and the other one switches at the same time. It's like, how did that happen? There's so much we don't know, so much
yeah.
there's to discover, but that's the beauty of the universe. So
I think one more thing to close the loop on everything, which we probably didn't really cover, is just being 100% genuine in everything that you do and being 100% true to yourself. Because like you said, talking about like AP, Rolexes, whatever, if you actually know exactly what you want and are doing everything you possibly can to get there, and then you're acting with being 100% genuine with the way that you're trying to provide value and are giving, whether that be in business terms with the way you structure your deals and just providing a load of value, you are going to get that back in one way or another. But just being 100% genuine in the way that you do that, and everything will flow.
I just think if you like sins from the Bible with sin in general, like sloth, if you're just lazy
Yeah.
and you don't do things, of course you're not gonna get the life. Also with gluttony, if you overeat or overstimulate, it's so it's also having a pure body and just live life as the universe wants you to live. So don't disrespect other people, like give reciprocity. Like those things are also very important.
Yeah.
beautiful.
I think that's a good way to end. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Pleasure
so
having
much.
you on,
Thank you.
man.